It's uh it's really good to have men in your life that make you better, that build you up, that encourage you, that challenge you, that actually call you out on your sin and your garbage. They're tough enough, they're men enough to confront you and your stuff and everything else. And I promote that on my podcast and different things that band of brothers is so important for your spiritual growth. And I texted one of them yesterday just to see how they were doing, and they said, "Hey, you got a second for me to call you?" And I said, "Yeah, you bet. Give me a call." Funny thing is, I talked to two different ones yesterday, and they're not even oriented together, but both of them just encouraged the heck out of me. But the one called me and he said he was thinking about his marriage and some things happened preparing for this men's Bible study last Saturday that drove him to this. He said he said, have you ever looked at your wife and said, you just don't understand what kind of pressure I'm under, or something along that lines? And he said, I've done that and I do that. And then I got to thinking about Jesus on the night that he was betrayed, and he knew what was going to happen. He knew what his job was, what was going to take place, and what did he do? What was the most interesting thing that he did that night was that he not only served his disciples dinner, but communion, and washed their feet. He washed their feet on the night he was betrayed. Well, he says, I've never had that much stress on me. I've never had so much stress on me uh, that uh, that I couldn't um, uh, that I could relate to what Jesus was going through that night, and he chose to serve his disciples. And he said it got me thinking about Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5:1 says, "Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God." Um, Look, if you're a follower of Christ, if you're a man of God and you don't have men in your life that are challenging like that, you need to find them. You need to call them out and find them. Because in that same chapter of Ephesians 5, if we jump down to 25, it says, "Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish." In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. So that's tough, and that's a challenge. I am so thankful for the men that I have intentionally invited into my life to be my band of brothers, because they bring that stuff to me, and it rocks my world. So, hey, just something I've been meditating on since yesterday, thinking about. I have never been under as much pressure as Jesus was the night that he was betrayed, and yet he still served. God bless.